Hey guys, welcome to Tabletop Warband. In today's video we have a new kill team. We are going to play Croods against Tau. I'm Simone and I'll play the Tau.
Hi, I'm Andrea and I will play the Kroot. Before we started, if you are subscribed to the channel, welcome back. If you are not subscribed yet and want to help us, join a growing community now by clicking on the subscribe button. And don't forget to activate the bell so you don't miss the next battle reports. Thank you guys.
Today's mission is Maze Breakout. The two kill teams will have to deploy within these two areas. There are no points of interest in this game, and the goal of the attacking kill team is to leave the battlefield from the opposite edge of the table. The one of the defender instead is to prevent it.
Victory points will be awarded at the end of the game based on the number of models that leave the battlefield. Each breakout will increase the attacker's victory points and reduce those of the defender. The game will last until all the attacker's models are removed from the battlefield. Both armies start with 2 common points, earning 1 point at the start of each round.
A group of Croods have defected to the Tau forces to become mercenaries on the planet Hesperia. This betrayal of the common good will not be forgiven, and a Tau kill team has been dispatched to deal with the matter. Unfortunately, the Croods intercepted the team and stormed the ship. The Tau will have to prevent the Croods from reaching the control room at all costs. The Tau kill team is made up of 12 Pathfinder operatives. The leader is a Shasui armed with a pulse carbine. The other team members are a communication specialist and a transpectral interference to take care of communications, an assault grenadier and a blooded pathfinder to form the front line, and a medical technician to deal with the wounded. 2 weapon experts, one with a ray rifle and one with an iron rifle, a marksman to protect the team from behind, and finally a drone controller with a MV3 recon drone and a MV4 shield drone.
A group of Kroot has decided to break off their alliance with the Tau and offer their services to the highest bidder. An unknown donor funded the kill team to do as much damage to the Tau as possible. Stealing the spaceship that came into planet Hesperia should be a great start. The kill team is composed by 12 operatives. The leader is a Kroot kill broker, equipped with a pulse rifle, and as additional equipment I gave him a ritual blade. Then there are 2 long distance specialists, the Kroot bow hunter and the Kroot alongside. Both have the possibility to shoot while having the conceal order. Right after the long distance operatives, we have the 2 short distance specialists. The Kroot Heavy Gunner equipped with a Dvorgad Skinner, and the Kroot Pistolier with his dual Kroot pistols. If I manage to shoot with them, I believe they'll cause massive damage. Next in line, there's the Kroot Cold Blood. He's a veteran, and evolved to be a little more tough than the other Kroot. Then we have 4 operatives who prefer hand-to-hand combat. A Kroot Cut Skin, the Kroot Stalker, and 2 Kroot Hounds. To support the team, there's a Kroot Tracker with his loyal pet Kra, a bird who can help the others to locate the enemies more easily. Last but not least, we have a Kroot Warrior equipped with Kroot Rifle.
Having to deploy first, I don't have the possibility to know where Andrea will place his Croods and which path he will decide to take to reach the edge of the map. This war zone is full of gates. I try to deploy so that we can cover as many routes as possible. My leader will take care of the upper part of the map together with the marksman and the blooded, while the 2 weapons experts will cover the lower part. The rest of the models will move according to the situation.
Since I need to reach the defender's kills on edge, I deployed my Kroot in a line to try to reduce the distance between my operatives and their objective as much as possible. On the bottom part of the drop zone, I placed the Heavy Gunner, the Warrior, and a Hound. Right above them, there are the Tracker, the other Hound, the Stalker, and the Kill Broker. In the upper part, there are the Alongside, the Bow Hunter, the Pistolier, the Cold Blood, and the Cut Skin.
It's time to do the scouting phase. Each of us chooses a number of dice equal to the corresponding number of the choice, 1 for Fortify, 2 for Infiltrate and 3 for Recon. Green dice for the Croods and blue dice for the Tau. I chose Fortify while Andrea chose Recon. The initiative goes to Andrea. Being the defender, I take action first and place the barrier here to slow the Croods down this route.
I chose Recon, so I can dash with an operative, and I decide to move the Stalker 3 inches forward.
In the strategy phase, I reveal the Takob Killing Blow. If at the end of the turn I have inflicted more wounds than I've received, I earn a victory point. The second Takob that I reveal is Retrieval. Andrea will place a marker on the map, and if at the end of the game I control it, I will earn victory points.
Okay, interesting choice. I guess I'll place the marker here. Good luck.
Ha! What a surprise!
The first operative to move is Edward, the Catskin, which goes to the left hallway.
Balsur the medic opens the door, but not being able to pass, decides to stay where he is.
Scott follows his friend and positions behind him.
Ryosun, with movement and dash, enters the room and positions himself in front of the door. ready to react in case someone wants to show up.
Jessie follows the wall in front of her and goes in front of the power panel.
C2PO has a task, which is protecting his Tau friends, so he follows Ryosun and enters the room.
Bradley uses movement and dash to reach the column and hides.
Koirei positions himself next to the drone in front of the other door. The Croods will have a hard time if they want to pass through here.
Jeremy, the bow hunter, with movement and dash goes behind his friend.
Ananda Tarak opens the door and positions himself just outside, in cover of the panel.
Vincent uses movement and dash to reach the door.
Tina Bell opens the last door that has remained closed and approaches the central column, waiting for the enemy to reveal itself.
Steven, the leader, runs forward and with 9 inches of movement, he stops in between of the two columns.
Laibal, the marksman, traverses the room with movement and dash and positions himself behind the barrier, in a good spot to shoot from.
Colin reaches the door with 9 inches of movement.
Tsunamun, the blooded, follows her friend and positions herself behind the barrier too.
The first hound, Spike, moves and goes behind the leader. Having group activation too, I can also activate the second hound, Slinky, and he goes beside the warrior.
Imhotep, the drone controller, stands at the entrance to the room to make sure that no one can pass undisturbed.
Kate moves behind the warrior.
Medjai, the leader, goes next to the comms in cover of the panel.
When the tracker activates for the first time, I can place a Pekra token within 6 inches of him. Then Jimmy moves forward near the hound.
R2-D3 quickly moves to the side of the Tau behind the barrier to provide support if needed. Iltai, assessing the situation, decides to stay behind, so as to be able to help whatever team may need it.
Well, this round was fast and no shots were fired, so I'm happy with how it went. Maybe I needed to hide the Kroot in the upper part of the battlefield, but I wanted to go as far as possible since Simone couldn't shoot my operatives.
As expected, the first round was rather fast and without interesting action. I managed to position the Tau to cover almost all the viable routes. Next turn, I will have to adapt to the situation and try to balance my forces, and at the same time eliminate as many enemy models as I can. The second round won't be as calm as the first, that's for sure.
Rolling for initiative. 6!
No, it was close! 5 is not enough. The initiative goes to you. Andrea has decided not to use strategic ploys. I use one command point for take cover. When a shooting attack is made against Tau who are in cover, my models have their saving throw improved by 1. Then my leader uses his ability Art of War and chooses Mon Ka. For this turn, my models with engage order can take a free dash action during their activation.
Jessie moves behind the tank and opens the door near her.
The comms activates and traverses the room thanks to the movement and the free dash of the leader's ability. Then, with his remaining action, he takes aim at the Kroot down the hall and shoots it. 4 shots at 4. I reroll dice with a command point. Nope. 1 critical and 1 normal hit.
Saving with 3 dice at 5+. Triple 3. First Kroot to bite the dust. Colin opens the hatch and with the second action charges both the recon drone and the ion rifle to block them in combat.
Andrea's move has put me in an awkward position and I have to act. The ion rifle guy needs to move, so I use deploy reposition, which allows my model to do a dash even though he's in combat, and is forced to finish the dash out of engagement range. This means that he is still able to shoot. For this, I use another ploy, supporting fire, which allows Koirei to shoot at targets that are within engagement range. Then the Tau takes aim and fires at the Kroot in front of him, 5 shots at 4+. Ah, what a terrible dice roll, just 2 normal hits.
Okay, I need to save at least 1. Or I just don't, and he dies. I spend 1 command point for the tactical ploy Vengeance for the Kimban on the ion rifle. Until the end of the battle, whenever my operatives fight in combat or shoot him, I can reroll all the dice. Then, I remove Colin from the battlefield. Kate moves forward and shoots with her Dvargite Skinner on the recon drone, and since her weapon has the rule torrent, the gunner hits the railgun as well, starting with the 6 attacks at 2+ on the drone. 1 crit and 4 normal hits.
With -2 penetration, I can only roll 1 dice, and I have to roll 4+. That just looks like a 1 to me.
Now the ray rifle with 6 attacks at 2+. 2 crits thanks to the little 5+ rule and 2 normal hits.
Given the roll made by Andrea, I don't even need to roll the dice. C2PO has suffered a heavy blow and is left with a wound, and is injured. The ray rifle, however, has been eliminated and leaves the battlefield. The recon drone is damaged but can still activate. Without hesitating, C2PO opens fire on the Kroot who shot at it earlier, 6 shots at 5+ due to the injury. Thanks to the ability Ceaseless, I can reroll the 1. Almost. A 6 and a 5.
Saving with 3 dice at 5. 3 5s! She's okay!
After the failed shot, the recon drone uses the ability Analyze to figure out how it missed. Possibly because its electrical circuits are damaged. Thanks to this ability, I can activate another model of mine after the recon drone, and that model will be able to reroll missed shots against the same target. C2PO finally decides to use the free dash of the leader's ability to stand in the middle of the way and block the passage. The Assault Grenadier activates and moves towards the door to get a spot with a good view on the enemy. Then he fires a fusion grenade at the Kroot, just to be sure to take it out. 4 shots at 3+. Great roll!
Great roll indeed. I can't save it, so the heavy gunner is dead.
Iltai has done his duty, and thanks to the free dash, he moves behind the wall again.
Jimmy activates and goes to open the door, then continues to move inside the room. Then I move the Pekra marker 6 inches forward.
Batsur saw the Kroot enter the room and decides to deal with it. With movement plus free dash, the medic crosses the room and positions himself directly in front of the enemy, then fires. 4 shots at 4+. Wow! 2 critical hits and 1 normal. That hurts!
Yeah, saving with 3 dice at 5+. Nope, both the tracker and his bird leave the battlefield. The hounds activate and charge. Slinky goes in combo with both the recon drone and the ion rifle. Then fights with the ion rifle and makes 4 attacks at 3+, with the possibility to reroll all the dice. Rerolling the 1 and the 2? That's not what I meant when I said reroll.
3 attacks at 4+ thanks to the support of the recon drone. Only 1.
To avoid losing wounds, I defend Simone's only attack with the first dice and deal damage with the second.
4 wounds left for Koire. It could have been much worse.
Spike activates and charges the medic. Then fights with him, making 4 attacks at 3+. 3 4s and a 1.
The medic responds with 3 attacks at 5+. A critical attack.
Spike deals damage with the first dice.
With the only dice at my disposal, I defend the opponent's attack, so he is safe.
And he deals damage with the last dice as well.
1 wound left plus the injury, but at least he's still alive. The medic needs a medic. Sinabel is already in a great position and has no other targets to shoot at, so he decides to put himself on guard and wait for someone to open the door to shoot him.
Jeremy changes his order and engage and shoots the enemy marksman with a voltaic arrow, hoping to deal massive damage with the Splash 2 rule. And to deal more damage, he uses his ability Energize to give the rule lethal 5+ to his shots.
The shield drone is nearby and moves forward to take the hit for the Tau.
Okay, so 4 shots at 3+ on the shield drone. Rerolling 1 with a common point, 2 normal hits and a crit, which deals 2 mortal wounds to every operative within 2 inches from the marksman. Hoped for something more.
R2-D3 defends with 3 dice at 4+. 1 is saved. The shield drone has an ability that allows it to ignore mortal wounds suffered at 5+. Nope, R2-D3 falls to the ground in pieces. Goodbye, my electronic friend, it was nice meeting you. Both Tau suffered 2 mortal wounds with no chance to save them at all, and are left with 5 wounds. The marksman identifies the Kroot that just fired and immediately targets him. 4 shots at 3+. 2 normal shots.
-1 penetration, so saving with 2 dice at 5+. Not even 1. These Kroots die so easily.
Like any good sniper, Laibal fires and then changes position. With movement and the free dash, she positions herself near the next corridor.
The Long Sight uses his ability Long Sight to gain the rule lethal 5+ and silent, and shoots the Blooded behind the barrier, rolling 4 dice at 2+. 3 crits!
With 9 automatic mortal wounds, I don't even need to roll the dice. The Blooded is now bloodied. Another dead Tau. Imhotep also decides to put himself on guard and bide his time to shoot. Don't mind the injury marker, he's not injured, he's just on guard. My bad.
The leader moves and goes into the room with the hounds.
Medjay, the leader, has heard of Kroots moving in the northern corridor and decides to deal with them personally. With movement and the free dash, he reaches the corridor staying in cover of the pillar, then shoots the Kroot on the other side. 4 shots at 3+. 1 critical hit and 2 normal hits. Nice shot, mate.
Saving with 3 dice at 5+. Nope. 1 more Kroot dies and leaves the battlefield. The last operative to activate is Vincent, who goes near the barrier in the hallway. This round, I've done a lot of damage to the Tau, but unfortunately, I'm afraid I've taken 1 too many casualties. I have to be more careful in the next turns. I just need 4 operatives to reach the enemy kills on edge to make sure I don't lose the game. Also, I need the initiative in the next round as well.
This round was really good. Thanks to all the crews I managed to eliminate, I gain a victory point for my Taco Killing Blow. Andrea is seeing his model being eliminated one after another. If I continue with this pace, the game will be over soon. The third round, however, will be more difficult because the crews will come in melee and the Tau are not strong in close combat. It will be an interesting turn.
Rolling for initiative?
I would say that you start this turn too.
Yes, I'm first again. In the strategy phase, I spend 1 command point for the strategic ploy Bound, which makes my operatives ignore the first distance of 2 inches they travel when they climb, drop or traverse. Then, Vincent activates and with movement and dash manages to reach the edge of the kill zone. He can now enter the control room, meaning that he did breakout. So I can remove him from the battlefield.
Koire doesn't stand a chance in melee, so I use the reposition ploy again to allow my ion rifle to dash out of combat. Then it spots the enemy leader and tries to take him out. However, having the recon drone in front of him, according to the rules of the condensed environment, he must make 1 shot less. So that's 4 shots at 4+. 2 successful normal hits.
Saving with 3 dice at 5+. Both saved! Spike activates and fights with the medic, making 4 attacks at 3+. And since he only has 1 wound, he's dead.
I didn't expect him to survive. If only there was another medic around.
Then, he charges both the Tau in the other room. Zelinki activates and fights with the recon drone, making 4 attacks at 3+. And like the other fight, he only needs to hit 1 to eliminate the drone.
C2PO also lost the last remaining working circuit.
Since he couldn't eat wires and drone stuff, he decides to join his friend Spike in the other room and charges both the Tau.
My goal is to take out as many crews as possible and I can't do that from melee. So I'm sorry, but these 2 Tau are going to have to sacrifice themselves to deal as much damage as possible now. Iltai fights making 3 attacks at 5+. 1 critical hit and 1 normal? Great!
Spike responds with 4 attacks at 3+, hitting with 3 5s.
I go first and do damage with the normal hit.
The Hound also deals damage with the first hit.
The critical dice remains, and with this I also deal damage.
And Spike bites the Tau, eliminating him with his last 2 attacks.
Great job! You can die in peace knowing you did your duty.
He's left with 2 wounds and a full belly. Bradley changes his order and engage and dashes to reposition himself. Then aims his rifle to the enemy marksman and fires 4 shots at 2+. Hitting all.
3 dice at 5+ to save him. Nope, my marksman was shot and knocked out. Another Tau dead. The drone controller has seen his friend being devoured and doesn't want to go the same way, so he tries to eliminate the Hound in front of him. 3 attacks at 5+. No, this way you'll end up exactly the same way.
Yeah, 4 attacks at 2+. I guess Slinky did find an easy meal.
How does the fight end? This is a scene you don't want to see.
Jessie activates and moves near the barricade to shoot the Tau behind the column. She makes 4 attacks at 3+. Okay, rerolling 1 thanks to the rule balanced and 1 with a common point. Just a crit thanks to little 5 and a normal hit.
3 dice at 5+. Ah, so close. Cinabel collapses to the ground lifeless. My comms has the wounded Hound in sight and decides to shoot it. 4 shots at 4+. 1 critical hit and 2 normals. That's it.
Need to save all 3 at 5+. Nope. Spike is removed from the battlefield. The last crew to activate is Steven, that changes his order and engage and charges the ion rifle. Then fights and makes 3 attacks at 2+. Since his attacks deal 4 damage each, I don't need to reroll the ones as 1 dice is enough to eliminate the Tau.
For me it's useless to roll the dice. I remove the model directly. Bye, Koire.
Since my leader eliminated an enemy in combat, I can reveal the attack of Robert Ransack and score a victory point.
Medjay moves towards the barrier to bring himself within sight of the second Hound. Once there, he opens fire. 4 shots at 3+. 2 normal hits. I hope it's enough.
I need to save at least 1. Rolling 3 dice at 5+. Nope, of course not a single 5. Like the other Hound, he's removed from the battlefield. At the end of the turn, I can reveal the Taco of Execution since I eliminated more operatives than Simone. If I manage to eliminate more enemies than Simone also in the next turn, I gain a victory point. At this moment, we're in a time victory points. Simone needs to eliminate 1 more crew to win, and I need to reach the edge of the kill zone with all my operatives. Let's jump straight to the 4th round to see what happens.
Rolling for the initiative. 3 is a bit low.
6! And again, the initiative is mine. In the strategy phase, I spend again 1 command point for the strategic ploy Bound. Bradley changes his order in conceal and uses his ability alongside to be able to shoot. He aims his rifle at the comms and fires 4 shots at 2+, hitting 2 crits and 2 normal hits.
With the 6 mortal wounds and 4 successful shots, there is nothing I can do to save him. My comms leaves the battlefield. This means that my last chance to win is in the hands of my leader. Medjay aims his rifle at the Pistolier and challenges him to a Western-style duel.
Oh, since you want to duel, my Pistolier has quick draw, meaning that she can interrupt your action to perform a free shoot action with her dual crude pistols. So, 4 shots at 3+, hitting a crit and 3 normal hits.
The leader defends with 3 dice at 5+. Well, Medjay, you lost the duel. Victory goes to the Croods.
Wow, I never expected this match to be so difficult. I'm sure I made a lot of mistakes, but luckily I won the initiative every round and that helped me a lot. Croods are really strong and a lot of fun to play. I can't wait to play them again. Anyway, the ship is in Croods' hands, and now the only thing to do is wait for more orders to arrive.
I can't believe I failed to win a single initiative roll. This match was tense until the end. I just needed to eliminate a single Croot more to be able to win, but I didn't succeed. It was an exciting match, full of action, a real fight to the death. Unfortunately, the Tau have all been eliminated and their ship seized. We will need to investigate further what happened. And with this, we conclude. If you like our content and want to help us grow the channel, we have an account on the platform Buy Me a Coffee where you can support us with donations. Any help you can give us to improve the channel is welcome. We are counting on you. The link is in description.
And if you have come this far, write the word MEAT in the comments to let us know. You are the best. And if you are not yet subscribed, subscribe to the channel. If you like the video, leave a like and write us in the comments. We are always curious to know what you think.
That's it, guys!
See you next video.